So we're here at the Rider. I came because I got a lot of people that asked me about it. So here I'm with the big boss. What's your name?
My name is Jake Lecce. I'm the sales director for the Rider Residences.
Perfect. So tell me more about the Rider, Jake.
Yes, so this is this spectacular project that we're sitting in the sales gallery for right now. This is the Rider Residences. The building is a beautiful 12-story boutique building. Excuse me. 146 units, a mix of studios, 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms, and 3 bedrooms. So something for everybody. We even have a ground floor retail component, which we're selling. We've shattered local records with our sales so far on that retail, which is a very good indication of people understanding the value here at the Rider.
Right.
And sales are going exceptionally well here. We're probably around 45% sold, and we've already broken ground, so it's off to the races. It's time to get in now before you lose a great opportunity in a key building and an amazing location.
Something that I noticed is that it's not the typical building.
No.
It has a lot of personality.
Mm-hmm.
The balconies, the layout is very European.
It is. And that's one of the things that drew me to this project, so I'm glad you recognize that. Coming from New York, the brick exterior really resonated with me. I love Brooklyn, I love the brownstones out there. So seeing that Chicago, New York brick style on the facade was great. We have some murals along the ground floor of the building, and then a mix of like brushed metals and some LED lighting to really give a nice overall effect. But as you said, a lot of buildings in Miami tend to not take risks. They know what works down here for the market, and it's ended up kind of making the new development seem pretty vanilla. You know what to expect when you walk into a pre-construction project out here. There's not too much differentiation until you walk into the Rider Sales Gallery, and then it's wow, a mix of really different materials, different tones, different textures, and it all comes together and gives you an effect of like an art piece. It's essentially like
I'm talking about location. We are in the middle of Midtown and Wynwood, so we're in the center of wherever they meet, both neighborhoods. So I know it's a very special building for sure, Jake. Mm-hmm. So show me around.
Yeah, so this is...
Is that your bike right there?
Yeah, so this is what the residence lounge will look like in the lobby area. We have this custom motorcycle bookcase that we created. All the interiors for the common areas are done by Rodica, which again is something that's totally different. This isn't your typical condominium interior designer. They mainly specialize in doing interior design for private jets and super yachts. So they're bringing a whole new take on condominiums here, and you see that translated here in our lobby. The developer, big fan of film, which you can tell by a lot of the artwork here. He was actually a movie producer at one point, and also an avid motorcycle rider. So he looks at motorcycles as their art pieces. He thinks that the attention to detail and craftsmanship that go into them really make them beautiful pieces to have on display. So you'll see some vintage bikes throughout the common areas used as decor.
What I like is it's like a little man cave, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what do the women say about the decoration? Because it's very manly. I love it.
So there is some manly aspects about it, and I think that just comes with the territory, having like a thread of motorcycles throughout the design of the building. However, you will see some areas where we really emphasize like a feminine quality, and then in terms of the units themselves, we made those much more toned down, not as rock and roll, so they're more widely appealing to everybody, but want to be true to what this building's all about. So the common areas are, unapologetically.
No, for sure we see the feminine touch right there.
Yeah,
For sure.
And all the art that you see in the sales gallery will be in the building.
Beautiful.
This was curated by our developer himself, who's an avid art collector, and there's going to be somewhere around $1 million worth of art in the building.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is Alan or Diego?
So Alan Ojeda and Diego Ojeda are both the heads of Rylea Group, and that's our developer in conjunction with Diego's offshoot development company, which is called Cypress.
Where are they from, Jake?
So they're from Spain originally, but they've been in Miami for over 40 years, and they've been delivering exceptional projects in Miami since they've arrived. On the commercial side, they were instrumental in transforming Brickell from just being a busy metropolitan area to being what it's known now as Wall Street South. They developed the JP Morgan headquarters, the Sabadell Financial Center, and then on the residential side, they did the bond on Brickell, which is always like a big aha moment for us when we have local brokers and buyers in. They've been to the bond, they totally get it. Resales are strong there, rentals are strong, and it's just an amazing.
I'm talking 13 years later, of course, they have to go with Cervera. Because Cervera is the best broker. Well, one Sotheby's might get upset with me, you might get upset with me, but when it comes to Brickell, Cervera is showing with bonds, showing with all the buildings that they have sold. Cervera knows the market, and then this is a new building and a new location, and this is the new Brickell.
Yes.
You know, I live in Brickell for 26 years, and I spent a lot of time in Midtown and Wynwood. Because there's not too much to do in Brickell anymore. You know, at least for me. So I love the location 100%.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Brickell's great. Again, coming from a New Yorker standpoint, I like Brickell a lot. It reminds me of the city, but it does remind me of like Midtown Manhattan, where it's very commercialized and very busy. This particular area of Midtown, Wynwood, and Edgewater feels much more to me like downtown.
Yes.
So like Greenwich Village, Chelsea, Meatpacking District, Lower East Side, you know, down to FIDA. That's more of what this area is like. So going back to the location, I think Real Estate Fundamentals 101 tells you location, location, location. That's hands down the most important thing. So I think that holds true in pre-construction as well. Clearly, the developer is first and foremost the most important part of these projects, but outside of the developer, the location is really what should matter most when you're thinking in terms of investment. And that's what we have here. The building rests at 94 Northeast 29th Street, which is essentially the dividing line between Wynwood and Midtown. So on the side of the street that we're located, you have the cool factor Wynwood address. So you can say, hey, I live in Wynwood, I'm a cool guy, you know. But across the street, you're in Midtown. And, you know, Midtown is much more laid back, much more residential, probably more family friendly, green spaces. But both neighborhoods have incredible restaurants and nightlife and unique draws to them. But then on top of that, you're also essentially bordering Edgewater. So it's at this unique nucleus of all three of these top emerging neighborhoods. And in addition to that, to me, you're within walking distance of Design District, the premier shopping district in all of the East Coast. So
I know you have your presentation, but I like to interrupt only to add stuff. We are in the epicenter of the art world, so then I see that we're gonna have art pieces or artwork all around the building.
Yeah, that was very important for the developer to have this building reflect the art-centric spirit of Wynwood. So you'll see some murals along the facade, and like I said, there will be somewhere around $1 million worth of art in the building. So it'll feel like living inside a gallery. But just going back to the location, because I think that is such a value here. One of the great things about this is where this building is located, you're not pigeonholing your investment in one specific neighborhood. So your money is tied to the growth or you know, the wins of whatever occurs in that neighborhood. So for instance, if you were to just buy a building in Edgewater, whatever happens in Edgewater, your money is tied to that. So say if Edgewater doesn't develop at the rate that you're expecting, or if there's more flooding than people are planning, then that's something that you need to be concerned about. With the rider, it's almost like buying in a mutual fund, where you're getting a piece of all these growing neighborhoods in one basket. So it's kind of a hedge where you're protecting your investment and not just putting all your eggs in one basket, and you're just really believing in all three of these neighborhoods, which are truly going to become the future of Miami.
How many floors are we talking about, Jake?
So that's one of the great things about Wynwood is it's zoned for mid-rise only. So you can't go higher than 12 stories, especially where we are. There are some exceptions with the Live Local Act, where towards like the Overtown and downtown sections of Wynwood, you're allowed to go taller. But in this specific area, it's only mid-rise. So it gives you that real neighborhood effect. You're not in some super high-rise building where you feel totally disconnected from what's happening on the street. This building, if you're on the roof, you're at perfect eye level to observe some of the most beautiful murals in Wynwood. You have amazing views of downtown, towards the bay, and then amazing sunset views going west.
And you are going to have a little bit of water view? What do you think?
I think on the east side, at least in the near future, if you're on a high floor, you'll have some water views, but we're not really selling views here.
Right.
This is more of like a lifestyle and location building.
Yes. But what's the bottom here? I know you told me that that's the commercial space, but...
Yeah, so on this side, this is just really where the parking podium is. So we'll have all valet parking, which is in the building. But what's one of the really cool things about the back side of the building here is we'll have one of my favorite amenities called the Toy Box. The Toy Box is essentially what it sounds like. Sticking with the motorcycle theme, we have curated a collection of about, I'd say, a dozen or so vintage motorcycles. So we'll have Harley Davidsons, BMWs, Triumphs, even a Ducati in the building, as well as electric bikes, Vespas, and scooters. So the idea is to offer affordable rentals for people that live in the building only. And this way, you can check in and ride out. The whole idea behind this building is just, the fact that Miami in recent years has just seen a huge influx of people. And while that's been a huge benefit for the city, in terms of traffic, it's become a nightmare. So one of the value adds of the rider is that you can walk anywhere. Everything is within steps of the building. But also, if you do want to enjoy the open road, you can just easily rent a bike within the building.
Well, you have me on the bikes, but then when you say electric bikes, I was like, no.
Well, look, motorcycles aren't for everyone.
I know.
So we want to make sure that we appeal to everyone.
100%. I was playing with you. Beautiful, very nice. When is going to be completed, Jake? We're in
we've already
2025, so...
2025, we just broke ground. Everything's moving full steam ahead. We're scheduled to deliver first quarter of 27. So quick turnaround. The building is small and boutique to begin with, so we don't really anticipate anything getting in the way from us reaching that date. I do want to add that all the units come fully finished and fully furnished. So the furniture packages for the majority of the building are by Adriana Hoyos, who's amazing. She's kind of like the Martha Stewart of Ecuador. She's done some incredible projects in pre-construction already, so we're really excited to have her here. And then our penthouse levels, which is the 12th floor units, the 11th floor units, and then our 3rd floor lanai units with these massive outdoor spaces. They will all be furnished by Restoration Hardware, which couldn't match the building's aesthetic any better.
100%. We're talking about penthouses. What's the ceiling? How tall are the ceilings?
Ceiling height on the 12th floor is about 11 feet.
Okay,
So you do
very
have higher
nice.
ceilings there, and like I said, some really amazing furniture pieces. Aside from that, other amenities in the building, we have this amazing rooftop pool, which will be private to residents only. There's going to be a small bar over here, which will overlook the bay, so you'll have plenty of sunshine all day long, and you'll be able to just enjoy the rooftop pool there. The roof is actually split into two. So this portion of the roof is designed for a restaurant or a lounge. That is currently for sale at $2,000 a square foot. And that will be open to the public. However, anybody visiting this restaurant will not be able to access any other portion of the building. We even have 2 elevators to service the restaurant exclusively, so it won't cause any residential traffic. Aside from that, on the 9th floor is where the majority of our amenities reside. On the outside, you have this beautiful breakfast bar area where you can enjoy the amazing views of downtown.
A little jungle there.
Yeah, lots of landscaping out there, keep it nice and lush. We also have 2 infrared saunas, 4 outdoor cold plunge pools, which are all the rage right now, and a state-of-the-art gym.
There's already some action in that gym right there.
Yeah, people are pumping some iron already.
Yeah.
State-of-the-art gym, all techno gym equipment, Peloton bikes, and we have a hammam Turkish bath experience, as well as a sauna. And then one of my favorite amenities is something that we call vinyl, which you can see pictured in this render over here. I'll send you the image of that. And the standout piece of that is our record player, which is in the sales gallery. That's called a Brion Vega. That is a very special piece. They're handcrafted in Italy. They only make probably about 20 of them a year. They take about 4 or 5 months just to complete, and it will create the most crystal clear sound you've ever heard from a record player.
You know, our generation, we always miss the 80s. Well, here's the building that has some personality like the 80s,
Yes.
you know?
Absolutely. I mean, we're big on rock and roll, Americana.
Yes.
You know, we're teaming up with Morrison Hotel Gallery and Iconic Images to bring you this incredible photography collection that we have here. So the building's very cool, very sexy, very different, as you said, and you know, the location just alone is an absolute home run. I do want to mention that you're going to have a Whole Foods at the end of the street, over on this side actually, on the east side of the building, going towards Biscayne. That's on 29th and Biscayne. You got the Whole Foods. Then Amazon doubled down on 29th Street and just announced that they finalized a 50,000 square foot lease to have corporate executive office space in Glenwood Plaza. So they see the value here. I hope you and your buyers do too. This is truly the future corridor.
Yes, 100%. Well, Jack, thank you so much, man. We love the renderings and the field, the beautiful field.
So just as a testament to how well the developer thought through the mechanics of this building, he put most of the units that are going to be geared towards the investors on the east side of the building, and then the larger units that are going to be more geared towards end users on the west side. So that just gives you like a little bit of a separation if part of your concern is you know, having a condo hotel atmosphere. If you're an end user, you're going to be totally fine over here. Talking about the studio units, our studios, I mean, the floor plans are amazing, very functional, but they're also huge. You know, for our 08 and 09 line, they range from, you know, 511 square feet to almost 600 square feet. So these are both mostly sold. There was so much interest in those that we created the 4 line, which is a micro studio line on the north side of the building. I think there's.
How big is that micro studio?
It's about
300,000?
386. Yeah, about 386. That's in a great position in the building. You have a balcony there. Those are almost sold out too. I think there's like 2 of those left. And then we just created the 14 line. So we have this other micro studio line, also about 386 square feet. We haven't released these yet. We're gonna release them beginning next week. Next up, in terms of investment, which I think could really work well for you, are our lockout lines. So this is one of the lockouts, the 07. Pull that up. This one was extremely popular. It sold so well that we had to create other lockout lines. So basically the way this works is you have this shared foyer. You can close this off and you can close this off. So by closing this off, this becomes the 2-bedroom. You have your own balcony, full kitchen, multiple closets, owner's closets, so you can keep your things safely secure in there if you're not here. Primary bedroom with a bathroom, secondary bedroom with a bathroom, your own washer and dryer, and your own AC thermostat, so you can control the AC within this. Then so what some buyers have done is they've elected to rent out the 2-bedroom portion long term, so you have that consistent annual income coming in and you know what to expect. and then use the second unit, which would become a studio, as a daily rental. So with this, you also have your own balcony, your own washer and dryer, your own bathroom, your own AC, and you've got like a mini bar, which is like what you'd see in a hotel room.
Mm-hmm.
But this way you can capitalize on the daily rents with this,
Mm-hmm.
and you have that consistent income, or you can live in this unit and rent this unit out. So another unit that we created like that is the O2 line. So this is a lockout as well. The main difference between this and the 07 is this one only has one balcony. And then we recently just converted the 16 to another lockout unit. So this one is actually the old floor plan. It's still being locked up, but I have the newer floor plan of this that I can show you. This one has 2 balconies and also functions as a lockout. So what I think, probably the most interesting for an investor like yourself would be one of the smaller studio units, because those are always going to be a value. Even if it's like a micro studio, the price points on those are very good. You're looking at the 500s, and that will get you in the building. I don't see there being too much of a difference.
All right, so you already showed me the building. You already showed me everything that we're gonna do. By the way, the player is amazing. But let's talk about why I am very interested in the rider as an investor, and also as somebody that could advise for people to buy it, and with my realtors of choice, is the ability to do short-term rental with this unit. So, Jake.
Yes, Ephraim, I'm glad you brought that up, because I know that's very important to you, and that's a business model that you're a big fan of. And so I'm very happy to say that we are truly rental restriction free here at the Rider. Part of the vision for this project and how it ties into motorcycles is not just the idea of riding a motorcycle, it's the lifestyle of being a motorcycle rider and being on the open road and having nothing holding you back and nothing restricting you from just ultimate freedom. So that's the idea behind our rental program here. So owners in the building will be able to rent the units out on an annual basis, on a monthly basis, or on a daily basis. And that's truly a real rental restriction-free building. There's no blackout dates, there's no 3-day minimum like some projects have. So you'll have ultimate flexibility and can capitalize on all the high season events that happen in this area. So Art Basel has become, Wynwood's become like the new center of Art Basel. This is where some of the best events are happening and everybody wants to be here. Formula One, perfect launching point to so many different activations that are happening. All the music conferences, so all the high season events, you can really capture those escalated rents during then. And there's a couple different ways you can go about doing it. So as an owner, you can rent it out yourself. We have this incredible app that's a proprietary app that was developed specifically for the rider. You will be able to put your unit up on the market on there. You can check out vacancies. You can put people in to clean your apartment, all done through the app. You can schedule a valet to pull your car up. You can hold some of the common areas. So everything is intertwined within this app. So as a unit owner, if you want to rent it, this app will syndicate the listing to all the different short-term rental platforms. If you choose to use an agent, that's an option for you as well. Or you can take advantage of our in-house management program, and we'll have a 24-hour concierge, front desk downstairs that can just take that completely off your plate, and we'll handle all of that.
Amazing, fantastic.